Welcome to the Maverick River podcast, Conversations in the Wild. Couldn't be more stoked for season 3. Here we go. We have some amazing guests this season, but some of my favorite people of all time is our first episode, which you're about to enjoy, with Jon and Angela O'Neill. They are some of the greatest people on the planet, some of my best friends. Jon and I have done ministry together for years and years. He's served with me at Men of Mariners. He's helped me build the men's ministry at Mariners Church. He is an incredible friend, very successful, incredibly generous, and I'm so grateful for him. This couple to my wife Corey and I are like ride or die friends, and they're like aunts and uncles to my children. I'm so grateful for them. Angela is an amazing artist. Recently wrote a book called Unspoken Word, A Moment with Jesus Changes Everything. Is that not true or what? So I cannot wait for you to enjoy this episode. All sorts of nuggets and things to take away. They talk about marriage. They talk about ministry. They talk about all sorts of things. They have more shout outs than any guest I've ever had, which is hilarious. They originally from the beautiful town of Riverside. Wow, beautiful place. And this is going to be an amazing season, and I would just love for you to continue to support this podcast by listening, by sharing, and giving us a great review. This podcast is for men anywhere and everywhere, no matter where you worship, no matter where you're at, what part of your life, young, old, all the things, and it also could be really encouraging and inspirational for women and couples as well. So enjoy Jon and Angela, episode 1, season 3. Let's go. All right, welcome to the Maverick River podcast. So excited for today's episode. We have some of my favorite people, my dearest friends on Conversations in the Wild, Maverick River podcast. Welcome to the studio, Jon and Angela O'Neill. You're here.
We are so glad. Yeah, she's waving. Doesn't know like where to wave to, but like we're waving.
Cameras.
Yeah, we're excited.
Well, they flew into town from Nashville just to be on this podcast.
Yeah. No, totally.
Angela is honest. Jon's just trying to play it cool. It's all good.
That's usually how it goes.
But we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today. But I thought it'd be good for us to start with a little would you rather. And these are, important questions to really get to know you guys.
Oh, boy.
And the first one is, would you rather, for the rest of your life, you have Cheeto fingers on both hands, all 10 fingers, unless you don't have 10 fingers. You have Cheeto fingers for the rest of your life, or you have a permanent milk mustache that's just hanging out right here. Milk mustache or Cheeto fingers for life. What would it be?
Can I go first? Or do you want to?
I already started, but okay.
All right. You going Cheeto fingers?
I didn't finish, so you go.
Okay, so first of all, I appreciate the inclusivity of people that may not have 10 fingers. So
just in case.
It was nice. Like, I thought that was actually very kind of you.
Yeah.
But I am going to go with the milk mustache because I feel like you could make it cool at some point and it's easier to own. But if you're that guy that's always got Cheeto fingers all around, it's going to get on everything.
It's true.
So that's my take. At least the milk mustache only affects me, visually everyone else, but like me.
I mean, I beg to differ. I feel like looking at you, that affects me. I will always laugh.
Kissing you, that affects me.
And it also affects your wife. I mean, your permanent milk mustache is very visible.
Yeah, but like every time I would hold her hand or whatever else, I'm sitting there with like Cheeto hands.
That's what mittens are for, Jon.
Yeah.
Cover those things up.
Oh, so you thought about this too. Okay. All right. Well, Angela, you give yours.
I'd go Cheeto fingers. Partly because I feel like if I'm hungry, I just,
yeah.
You
got to snack
snack.
all the time.
Is it an inevitable supply? Like somehow, like
they refuel.
Yeah. And maybe like on certain days, it's even fiery Cheetos.
It could be.
Just don't touch your eyes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you could never rub your eyes.
I said on certain days when I'm feeling spicy.
I mean, both are unfortunate. There's no doubt about it, but you have to choose one.
Milk stash.
And milk stash, which is just so awkward and weird. And also Cheetos everywhere. Cheeto fingers everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, that was the easy one.
Okay.
So the next one I thought would be important to know is every time someone says hi to you, you either laugh really hard or every time someone says hi to you, you have to say thank you, thank you, thank you 3 times. Every time someone says hello, you have to thank them 3
I thought this was going to be a hard one. This is really easy.
I don't know. It might be
I would
difficult.
thank you. Like, I'm thinking of like Sheldon in Big Bang Theory, where like he knocks 3 times, like penny, 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 or whatever. Like, that doesn't bother me. Sure, people are going to get over it. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, I mean,
it's weird, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
And here we go, where I would want to laugh.
Oh, yours is the opposite. Okay, good.
This is great because you guys are so much alike.
We didn't prep this. And yeah, we are a lot alike on so many things.
Yeah.
But, so these are fun. Okay.
Well, even when you were saying the question, I was laughing. So it just felt right.
Yeah.
I felt like I would have known her answer. I didn't guess her answer on the first one. I wouldn't have known that. But that one, I like, she was going to go with laughing.
I laugh at my own jokes.
Yeah, that was kind of easy.
Yeah.
So let's just put it into practice one time. Hi.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That was natural. She didn't have to fake
She didn't
laughing.
do anything
It
different.
was just perfect.
See? And it would be fun, and then everyone would be laughing.
He did give, like, I can't remember the words you used, but you were like, you had to like really laugh. I felt like that was a little bit of a giggle. So that wasn't what I was thinking in my head. That's all, for clarity.
I mean, it was great for what it is.
enough?
It was
Okay.
good enough. Well,
All right.
it counts.
Okay, then.
Okay.
So let's talk about you two, your marriage. How long have you been married? We'll start there. And how did you guys meet?
So we'll have the same answer for the first question
Yeah.
and a different answer
Perfect.
for the second
Yep.
question.
Why don't you give the first answer?
So
I know.
our wedding anniversary is February 27th.
Great.
So
Coming up.
we're right there. We are married 9 years on that day. So, and
Like
then
8 years, 11 months, and X days, whatever that is. There you go.
you don't know the exact. I'm just joking. And then it'll be on that same day, 10 years to the day that we started dating. So we got married a year later.
Great.
After, which wasn't planned, though that sounds like a really intentional decision, but it wasn't planned.
So I'll go like from there back then to share like where we see different. But Angela's grandma was not doing well health-wise at the time. We had gotten engaged. It was really important for us to have her be a part of the wedding and to be there. I only grew up with one grandparent ever. She had great-grandparents and a lot of others, but it was really important to have her there. And so we really kind of sped up. I think we planned a wedding in, because I proposed
3.5 months.
November 17th, I think
That's
it
quick.
was.
Yeah.
Did that. So it was quick. So did that, and so we got her involved. So I'll jump back to the second part of the first question, which was how did we meet? My story is we both went to college together. Cal Baptist University, got a
Here we
Lance
go.
up.
Lance up.
There you go. So holler in the beautiful, Tim, what do you think of Riverside? It's
beautiful, Tim.
Okay. I'm glad. We'll get to that later. But we both went there to go to school and got our undergraduate degrees there. And
That's true.
I remember Angela from there. Angela does not remember me. So there's where it's at. So when we say, how did you meet? Because I can't say like we met in the quad at 2:37 p.m. on this day after this class. She says it doesn't count. I remember that we met and I knew her. I just can't remember and pinpoint that moment.
Got it.
Therefore, she doesn't think that counts.
It doesn't. Well, okay.
I just didn't know this was such a controversial
It is.
question.
It really
It
is.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is fascinating.
It's big.
Yeah. And
Well, and here's what I would say to that is for anyone who has met Jon O'Neill, he is hard to forget.
That's very true.
And so I think that is evidence enough that my version is right.
oh, well, I appreciate you being sweet and trying to win. But
And I was also
mine is right. So
I wasn't going to school. We'll out this. I'm a little older than Jon, so I was the 21-year-old professor
Oh,
at the
wow.
time.
All
So meeting in
more
the quad-
controversy
Yeah, I know.
at CBU
CBU, come
in
on.
the beautiful Riverside, California.
I mean, she's a hottie. Like, I remembered her. Like, we were good. I wasn't thinking
Was
about.
she actually your professor? Did you
No,
take her
we didn't
class?
have that. And the deal is, like, when you're 21, like, I don't think I'm thinking at 18 years old, like, oh, is she a professor or a student?
I didn't
And I think
think
my
I was a
mind was straight to
professor.
student. So it's like, it wasn't
Fair.
like it was like a conscious thing. But Angela would say we reconnected through social media years later, and that would be how we are. So she was Go ahead. You want to do
And
this
that
one?
CBU
Okay.
was still part of the story.
Okay, that's a good clarification.
Yes.
So she was teaching at a Christian high school, and a lot of people that I knew directly or indirectly were a part of that and teaching at the school also. So when she's posting photos of that, it's getting reshared and everything amongst all of our friends and these people that we knew, like one of the guys that I had gone to church with from when I was a kid, another guy that I went to high school with, somebody that I went to college with and I was his RA. There were people that she knew. And so there was just all this that was popping up. And I wrote her, and my opening line,
I'm not trying to be a creeper,
but
I
yeah,
am.
that's how I led.
But I am.
It worked. Okay.
To which
almost 10 years together, it worked.
To which then I asked him a whole bunch of very specific questions about the people he said he knew, and he didn't have the answers for.
Hold on. I knew some of them. I didn't know one of them with Evan and
You didn't know his
Janae.
wife's name. That was a big deal. Anyways, yeah, wow.
Here or there.
Here we go.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Getting
get
spicy
it.
off the get-go.
Very spicy.
That is how
Marie and I have a very different perception of how we first met.
There you
She
go.
was totally vibing. I was vibing. It was a thing. And she, to this day, will say, I had no interest in him. Which
Really?
is absolutely not true.
So I didn't know about you guys. You're
Yeah,
some of our best
100%.
friends.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Oh, no. I was working a sound booth at a Christian camp. She walked up looking all pretty, totally flirting, interested.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All my friends who saw her to this day would say, oh, yeah, she was totally into you, obviously. And so, she doesn't agree, and that's fine. So there's controversy around these things.
There is.
We're going to continue to talk about the two of you.
Okay.
What is something you absolutely love about Angela? And then you'll share what you love about Jon.
Wow.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So I'm going to open this with,
Don't make me cry.
well, I haven't
You
read.
can make me
I haven't
cry,
read the
it's okay.
questions. So, Tim was trying to prep us with some of them ahead of time that we could start thinking about certain things as categories, and I didn't read them. So we're going off the cuff here. I think probably one of the biggest things I love about you is your kind heart. That you just are someone that's easy to love, that you love on everyone else, even when you're being the overly nice person. You do that so well, and you love on people, and you're a great reflection of how Jesus loves us, and you play that out really well in your day to day. So I love that about you.
Wow.
And I get to be the recipient of that for almost every day. So
Almost every day.
Almost every day.
I travel a lot,
Oh,
Yeah, that's what,
Yeah,
that's
it
what
wasn't
you
that I was in
That's what
trouble.
you meant.
It wasn't that I was in trouble.
No, you were doing
was that I
so well.
yeah.
No. I'm not. I think even when I travel, I am recipient of that.
So this is the harder question, clearly, because you now have to say something you absolutely love about Jon, which I know that's not easy.
Yeah. There are so many things to love about Jon. One of the things, I'll go back to even dating, this plays into his character now. Jon is so intentional. And so when right off the cuff, when he was reaching out to me, with lines like, I'm not a creeper, he stayed intentional. And honestly, for me at the time, and he pursued with great intention, and that almost took me back at first, where I was like, who is this guy? What is this game that he's playing? But when you know Jon and you are loved by Jon, you know that the things he does it's always intentional. He wants to love people in their way that they want to be loved. And so that would be one. It never stopped. It wasn't a game. I just had to trust that it wasn't a game in the dating phase. But Jon,
You gave one. We're good. I don't need a bunch. I love this.
he loves his, and I guess this goes into that. He loves his people fiercely, if that's the word. It's big. When he loves you, he wants the best for you, and he will move mountains to try to make everything happen because he loves and believes and supports.
See, now I wanted to go second. Like, you got to come with this zinger at the end. Man, that was so good. It was so much better
There's
than
just
mine.
so much love in the air.
Yeah, goodness. I thought the kind heart thing was
it's true.
good.
I would wholeheartedly agree with both of you. Angela, your kindness and your love just radiates off you anywhere you go. Everyone knows that. Any room you're in,
Thank
you make brighter. And Jon, it's true. I think of what Angela was saying, your intentionality. When Jon is your friend, you know it, and he loves deeply and cares for his people.
Yeah.
And even today, Jon, talking about
Yes.
intentional, this this ski jacket puffy beer koozie or your soda pop koozie.
I was going to say it was a soda koozie.
Yeah,
is the intention. Yeah,
but I mean, he's like, I could see you wearing this jacket. I would love to wear the grown-up size of this jacket. But
we were in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and for our niece, we're walking around, and I saw these, and I'm like, Tim's got to have that. Like,
totally.
It was the first thing. There was another one that we wanted you to have that was like the Hawaiian shirt vibing one, but it had a hole in it. So we went with this one. Obviously, the Puffin team, like, as you come out with more inventory, we'll buy more for Tim. So
they're great.
Sponsor the podcast.
Yeah.
We'll tag the Puffin.
I think they're awesome. They're
in the show notes. It's awesome.
Well, think about it. Like, I love when somebody comes up with a business idea that it's like makes something that's been around forever, like creative and fun. And like a koozie, like you just get like 5 million of them that people just throw their logo on it. But how often is it like a puffy jacket koozie?
No.
That's awesome.
It's creative.
Yeah.
But my point in sharing is that you're intentional.
Well, thank you.
And you, through the podcast, you brought me a gift. Very kind.
There you go.
You guys are incredible people. This is a men's ministry oriented podcast.
Holler.
And Jon has been, and both of you have been incredibly supportive of what we're doing with Maverick River and Conversations in the Wild is one part of it. So we are going to talk a bit about men's ministry. And I always say a great men's ministry should impact everybody in the family. Yeah. Wife should be one of the biggest recipients of a healthy men's ministry, should be the husband and the household and the kids. So Jon, I want to start with you. Why are you so passionate about men's ministry?
You know, it's a hard thing to put like one thing on. So I'll probably answer in a maybe convoluted way, but just trying to summarize. I love how when you get a dude like just fired up about Jesus, how it affects so many other things. It affects their workplace. It affects what they're doing in their family many times and so much. And that's not to say that that doesn't happen with women as well. It totally does.
Of course.
But I get to see and be inspired by seeing that. So you look at when a dude gets fired up for Jesus and then the ripple effect. I used to work in the coaching world. And one of the things we talked about is the impact that a coach has on people's lives. And you think about it from, I mean, let's go like the very like common example of like Little League baseball or whatever. And that coach has whatever, 12, 15 little kids that are on there that he coaches. And then you do that year over year and you look at the ripple effect, and a coach will impact thousands of lives. How much more so do we get to do that for the kingdom when that person and that coach is inspired by Jesus and loves Jesus and gets to live that out in their life? So I get passionate about men's ministry because I love seeing the impact that men have, whether that's in the business place, whether that's in the sports arena, whether that's in their churches and their families, and then how they get to take that out and live that out and show Jesus. So much of the time the men become the tip of the spear on there in a very biblical way of what that looks like. And so I just get excited about it.
Love it. Well, we're going to dig more into that. Yeah. But Angela, how have you been a recipient, perhaps, or even just why do you love men's ministry?
Yeah. I love men's ministry and hope that every wife listening will encourage her husband to get involved with men's ministry. Every man listening will feel encouraged to go be a part, even if that's a scary first step,
Sure.
right? Because sometimes it's that first step it is the scariest, to go in a room that you might not know someone. So if you're listening, or you are listening, listen, go, get, be a part of it. And what I will say is, as the wife, we get to go to church together, which obviously is important and is such a blessing to experience church together. But I will always encourage, and Jon doesn't really need my encouragement to go because he loves it, but there's never a question if he wants to go to a men's event that my answer is yes. What happens in men's ministry, that's where you dig deeper and relationships get deeper. And for us personally, I see the smile on his face when someone in all y'all's, yes, I say y'all now, group text comes up and I go, well, okay, it's either Tim or it's this person or that person. You see that joy. But what that means further than just even like friendship is these are the people that are with you in life, and it's Christ-centered. which is so important for when Jon needs encouragement. He has his group. There is a group that he goes to. When Jon needs to ask a business question, he has his people, and they come from men's ministry that he goes and asks that question.
That's good.
When Jon probably has a question about me, or not a question, or I won't say
A marital issue,
thing. Yes, it happens, right? He has friends to go to, and I would trust him to go to those friends. It's not even that in the end I'd be like, how dare you go ask so and so? How dare you go to Tim? I would hope that he can go to you and feel confident in that, because I know your response or any number of these guys are coming at it for Jon's best interest, our best interest, but it's Christ-centered. So if Jon needs to be challenged on something, that'll happen. If Jon needs encouragement, and we all need all of those people, and men's ministry starts that so much. And so I could go on and on. I see it bleed over into our marriage. I see it bleed over and hear the conversations he has in the business world, and hear guys say like, you're a Christian, like, and they're leaning in, wanting to know more about that. And I think the men's ministry is that place of encourage. It's all of that. I keep going.
Well, and I'd love to just
great.
add in as a recipient of that love of a wife in support of men's ministry. So like how that plays out on a very practical way. It was even this Thanksgiving. So Angela and I have moved to Nashville. We love it. We have an amazing church home that we've been a part of at Midtown Fellowship, shout out. And so
there you go.
It's, but it's just something where we found great community off the get-go, total God thing, and started to get plugged into men's ministry there. And I travel a ton for work. I spent over 150 nights in a hotel last year. It was crazy. But as a part of that, I try to be really intentional when I'm home that Angela and I get time together. And I say all this because there was a serve event the weekend before Thanksgiving, and I was wanting to be like, no, it's a great thing. Like the men of the church are coming together and going to go support this community in the greater Nashville area. And I was just feeling like I really wanted to support men's ministry, but I've been traveling a lot. I want to be intentional with my wife. Like I love being there, being home with her. And I think at some point it came up and she asked something. I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go. Like I wanted to, but I was like, I just don't know if I am. And she was like, no. Like, go be with the men. Like you need to do that. Like that's important. So it's not just that she's supportive she loves to be the recipient of, being around other godly men that we get to do life with them and their families, but it's also that she's an encourager of that. And it's really important. And she sees the value of that and does that. So yeah, I just think that was a cool example of her encouraging me, like, no, go do that. Like men's ministry is important. Like we'll get our time, but spend your few hours and go and serve alongside the men.
Yeah, I think that's important to note in the idea of sometimes when you go to a church thing, even if it's a men's ministry thing, it's still time away from your family, your children, your wife, whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there is a bit of a cost, but having a supportive wife but the value is so important, and he's going to come back better.
Right.
Totally.
He needs that. It helps him become a better husband, father, employee, boss, whatever it may be. And so I think it's really helpful to hear the way you guys have articulated that. I think you both were very involved at Mariners for many, many years, where I serve as the men's pastor. Jon, you've been involved in men's groups. You've served with the men's ministry for years. You're now finding new community in Nashville. But one of the things that has happened over the last 2 years, a year and a half, is even from conception, me sharing this vision, this God-sized dream of Maverick River. And Jon, you were with me from the second I took over the men's ministry, when it was primarily guys 55 plus, significantly smaller, and you helped me build it, no doubt. I
think I was the youngest guy in there.
You were the youngest guy in there,
and you were like, "I need you here." I'm like, I don't look like a lot of these other dudes.
I know, and that's an important thing to share. Like most churches that have a men's ministry, which, by the way, only 7% of churches in the U.S. have men's ministries. It's part of the reason.
Which is sad. We want to change that. Why we love MRC.
And we're going to talk about that. But it's interesting because every church I talk to is just like how I inherited the men's ministry, not multi-generational. And so it's really an important aspect of what we do when we train and equip churches. And so some of the fruit that we've got to do is me tapping guys on their shoulders in their 20s and 30s. I was 35 at the time. You were probably 21 or something. I don't know. Young Johnny over here. But it's pivotal that we help a younger demographic, because not that we don't want older, wiser, incredible guys. We need each other. It needs to be this reciprocal. Young guys need old guys, old guys need young guys. But one of the things from a marketing perspective and for a health perspective is old guys will do young, young guys won't do old as far as the ministry goes. And you have to look young if you want to be young. And so, like I said, you were there from the beginning. What are some of the things that you thought as we started to build the men's ministry from the beginning, rebuild, I should say, that were so important for us to make sure we included in the men's ministry?
That's a good question. I mean, I think back to so many stories of even like men's breakfast. And I think I shared with you early on, like, I was like, do you really need me there? Like there's just a bunch of older dudes. And I'll clarify, great older dudes. So just some of our closest friends and mentors and other people amongst that group. So good, solid people. But to your point, they didn't skew to that age group that I was at. And so not that no one ever told me I wasn't welcome, but it kind of felt that way a little bit. And you're like, no, we're going to be intentional about this. And we talked about that. And we started doing like stupid fun games that you would do at like junior high and high school ministry and all the young life stuff that you brought in and did on that.
Guys need to play.
And it was like, you see these old guys like having a blast. Like I remember, like I'm not talking old when people listening, like if you're 60s, like you're not old. I'm not talking to you. Like I'm talking like, we're talking like the 80s, like can barely get out of their chair dudes are loving this.
Yeah.
And we're having an amazing time watching us like have fun being with dumb games that then like propped you into this place of worship and get to spend time together in community. So I think when we think about that and we think about the start, I go really from, I wouldn't say not feeling welcome, but I would say feeling different than what I saw to feeling as a part of it and fun and that I wanted to be involved. Like it was a desire, like this is a great place to be, and did that. And I parlay that into where we're at now with our church is I'm in a Tuesday morning Bible study. Iron Sharpens Iron Bible Study is what our group text name is.
Perfect.
And it's a bunch of dudes that there's a few of us kind of on the younger side, but a lot of them on the older side. And we have fun and like they're starting to get the younger generation involved. And you see our like men's leadership team at our church that I get to see from afar and be a part of the events they're doing. And they are really multi-generational. And you just get really excited about that it's not only a bunch of these guys that were retired that want to tell you all about their stories, which by the way, I want to hear about, but it was also this great fun young group. And when they blend together, like it's such a cool reflection of the kingdom. Like that's what we're going to see in heaven is we're going to see everyone from all different walks of life. So I loved it because of that. I think that as I think about the men's ministry growing at Mariners over the years, I think one of the most fun things to be a part of was Man Camp. And I know we'll probably talk about Man Camp at some point, but I think about the moment where men's lives get changed by creating space away from everything else and getting involved. And so you see, like, in a very practical way, I was involved in, like, knowing some of those numbers as we would talk about Forest Home. How many guys do we need? You know, we have 150 guys, then we have 250 guys, then we have 350, and then we have 450 plus dudes that are there. And where are we going to put all these guys? But it's been fun to see how that event has transformed and changed men. And then what the ripple effect of that is on their families as they go out. Just, I feel like I'm talking a lot, but I get really passionate and fun. Like these are things I could talk about all the time. So.
Well, and I watched, I'm sorry.
I was going to ask anything to add. And
Yes.
you have.
I would, so yeah, we were married when Tim took over. I would watch and hear stories and go, well, I want to go too. I mean, you guys have done such a good job of balancing Bible, but letting people have fun and feel refreshed, which I am a firm believer. This may just be Angela theology, but I don't think it is. I feel like Jesus is the most fun, right? He, as you know, anyways, we could go into that whole thing, but you even read scripture and hear like he's at the party, you know. So anyways,
Jesus loved hanging out with the dudes. Okay, like let's call it what it is. Like he had disciples. He was sitting there and he hung out with them and spent time with them. Like it was such a cool, practical example of spending time with them and sharing who his father was. But yeah, he had fun.
If you are creator, part of that is. And fun is something that we do.
He created fun.
He created fun. That's Angela theology right there. But so to see that balance, because the fun is where the fellowship happens and the connection happens and the walls get broken down. So I would hear all the stories and hear the depth involved and the I believes that happened and the baptisms that would happen and all these things, and then the silly skits and the games, and hear that combination and go, can I go next year? And I mean, obviously that wouldn't be a good idea, but I did. I mean, you know,
we've had a lot of women ask to go to man camp.
I know.
And there's a reason for that. Yeah. It is done so well that we want woman camp.
Well, and if I can add into that, I think one of the cool things is, so our stories, Tim, are different in that, like, I grew up in the church, not that you didn't, but that I grew up without like Young Life and some of those things. And I know that's such a huge part of your story. And like the play of Young Life, of that strategy of like how fun can break down the barriers and then move into like these other things and what that's needed there, and how that same playbook gets to happen as adults. I just didn't experience that growing up. We had a great youth group. That's not to say anything about it. We just didn't have it in that same way. So I stepped into men's ministry not knowing about like Young Life and that model, and just seeing like, man, like we're having a blast here in friend doing this, and you're like, well, it's this playbook, like it's been around forever, like this is what works, this is how it does. But to me, it wasn't that you adapted something from a youth thing to a adult thing or a men's thing. It was more like, this is so much fun to be involved in, and how quickly you move from fun to worship, but yet like it feels natural, and you get into like a more intimate time with Jesus, because I think you use the exact words, like your barriers are down, your walls are down. Because
you've laughed.
So, yeah.
You've giggled and maybe
there's
not giggled.
strategy that goes into it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like limit, like there's a lot of intentionality that goes into what you do, but you make it so seamless. Like, so I think I'm probably spoiled by men's ministry because you do it very well.
I appreciate it. I think really one of the values that is taken out of Mariners is creating intentional environments for men to make courageous decisions. And courageous decisions, we've seen those on a big scale. One being giving their life to Jesus for the first time at a victory circle, a baptism at the end of the weekend. It could be at a men's breakfast, hearing this, word from a speaker, preaching a message that has to do with them breaking free from something that they need to repent of. All these different decisions, but the environment's essential to, back to the word intentional. Literally, I labor over a playlist that they're going to walk into, what videos I'm going to show, the look and feel, the signage. All these things are small things that turn into big things that do create a multi-generational, vibrant, transformative men's ministry. It's necessary. And so part of the word and the dream that God gave me is, I've been blessed and entrusted at this church in Southern California, but it was multiply the mission, multiply and help more churches, which leads us into Maverick River. You guys have been incredibly supportive, generous. Jon is on my advisory board, so Angela is on my advisory board. Sometimes I'll send her stuff. Is this dumb? Is this funny? Is this good? So you both sit on that. But why are you so excited to partner with me in this ministry?
Why don't you start this one?
Okay, because I was going to ask to start.
Good. Oh, this is
Perfect.
This is awesome.
This is working. We're agreeing on something
We
now.
plan this.
Yeah.
We'll agree on our time we met, but we'll agree there.
Yeah.
I want other homes to experience that's just the simple answer, right? Like I see the effect of men's ministry in our home. I want everyone to have that. And if the man is centered on Christ, that's a ripple effect to the family, which is a ripple effect. I mean, it just keeps going, right? And so I just think of the power of what that does if that happens in the family, and then it happens in the community, and then that begins to happen in the country, and then like it spreads and spreads. And so it all points back to Jesus, where we all need to be centered. But to create this intentional environment that people want to go to. I think that's what I see in what you do, Tim, is people want to go. And sometimes they just, like I said, have to go to that first thing and then realize, I want to keep coming back. Something's happening. And so that's revival right there. And so I would hope that could be it would be I feel like if every man got to be a part of a men's ministry, that transforms, it's not just them personally, that transforms the world on a large scale.
Let's go.
I'm a dreamer, so I go bigger.
Bigger.
Chief dreamer over here.
So I love what you said. And I think that's so right. I would add on to that in that, so I'm in sales by day. So my day job is I go out and I sell big buildings is what I do. But as a part of that, there's so much strategy that goes into that a lot of times people don't see. How you say something, where you say it, the timing of when you say it for that, or the order of events. Like there's processes and there's things we follow and that we get there, and people don't see that. And I think so much of the time, like Tim, you hit on intentionality a little bit of like all the little things, even down to the playlist or things like that. And I want to let people know, and I want to highlight that like men's ministry isn't just you have a men's breakfast and you send flyers out. Like it's not like the intentionality of like creating small groups that guys get to be involved in and encourage each other and point back to Jesus, then how that builds up to being together at a larger level on a men's breakfast, how that gets to move into seeing each other on Sunday at church and doing that, how that builds up to you get to go and be a part of a man camp type event where you get to get away and experience a few days outside of the norm once a year to have a big trip, how that experience relays into going and serving alongside those guys. There's so much intentionality. It's not just, hey, once a month, the first Saturday of the month, we have a men's breakfast. It's here's how that is, and here's how that builds in. And it's all from a place of caring and loving for people, and specifically men when we talk about this. So I get excited to explain and usher that into other people, which is why one of the reasons why we've been so supportive, because we can't do what you do. God put you on this earth to do men's ministry the way you are, and the avenue he gives you to do that is Maverick River, and we get excited about that. And we want to see how can we support, and what does that look like? Is that strategic introductions? Is that helping financially in whatever way we can? Is that sitting there and going and serving alongside you, which I've loved to do for years and will continue to do at events? How can we support you living out what God, and I say you, I mean Maverick River, but specifically you in many instances, with the support of your family, to keep doing what you're doing? We love it. We want to do more of that. And so that's what we as a couple are bought into, is how do we go out? And I think the reason why it makes it easy for us to do that with you, you don't care about the big T, Tim, like we talk about the little C church and the big C church and stuff. Like you're not out there trying to make Tim Lukai Ministries and have this all, or as my phone would say, Tim Lukey, every time you call, and that's what goes off. But anyways,
It's true.
We really got to find a way to fix that.
we'll work on that.
Yeah.
But it's really been about like, you've been such a a behind the scenes guy that gets to go up on stage and inspire men and do that. And you value and utilize a moment so well. And so I think it's like, man, like you spent 1,000 minutes to build up to that 1 minute of whatever you shared up there before a speaker or anything else. And how do we get other people to see that there's 1,000 minutes that went into that? And you just mirror that so well for what that needs to be. We're bought in, we love it, and we love MRC.
Well, I think your why, I don't go, well, why is Tim doing that? Your why is so clear.
Oh yeah.
And so
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
That's why it's easy to say, yeah, go do that. Go be part of that. Go serve along him. Go be a recipient of a man camp, or name all the things, a men's breakfast. I don't question why ever.
Well, and I'm going to jump back to something, is I think for us, well, not for us. I remember my pastor at the church I was at growing up. His name's Tom Lance from the Grove Community Church in Riverside. Amazing place. Love Riverside.
Shout out.
And
here we go.
For those of you that don't know, Tim and I made an arrangement because he would tease me every time we would drive through Riverside that I would share all of my Riverside stories, and he would tease and give a hard time that he needs to love on Riverside, and he got some concert tickets. So it was great. It was a win all around.
Wait, you tell me the same thing, and I went to the same school. Like,
Yeah. Well, you don't get to make that bet.
I don't get
We all hear the same Riverside stories
But I
every
went
time
there.
we go down the 91.
If you're driving down the 91, you are going to hear about Riverside stories.
No one loves Riverside more than you.
That's true. I do love Riverside. So I say this to say, Tom Lance, I remember growing up, he used to share this in sermons all the time. He would say, you're never going to make it through a dinner with him without him talking about his wife. Didn't matter if he was out on the golf course or he was out wherever else. Like, you're not going to make it through that sustained period of time without that. He loves his wife. He's going to find a way to incorporate his wife into the conversation. And he was sharing that in a way that how we should talk about with Jesus. We love Jesus. That should be an overflow of that should come out when we're having conversations. I feel that same way. Oh, I'm getting emotional talking about this one. I'm going to do my best to keep it together.
No,
but when we talk about MRC and like what men's ministry does and how you get to do it, like I hope that every time I sit down and I'm talking with somebody, somehow men's ministry comes up. It's a top few things in our life that are really important. So it should be an overflow of who we are and what we're about. So like when we move to Nashville and we get involved in the church, like I get super excited to be like, hey, like, have you heard about my buddy Tim? Have you?
No, we have not.
Like do you know what Maverick River is? Like, and I just get excited about that. Or when I'm traveling for work and somebody talks about that they're a Christian and they go to church and they're involved in some kind of men's ministry, I get excited about that. Like it was so much fun being with you, Mitch, Felix, and the crew at the Acts 29 conference last year and getting to talk to churches about men's ministry and me getting to share my perspective on that and dive in. Like that was a ton of fun. But it oozes out because it's a core thing of our life. Yeah. It's not a peripheral thing that like we just have somehow in there. It's a core thing. So I hope that I'm never sitting there in a group of men and we don't get through a conversation without somehow men's ministry coming up. And the byproduct of that many times gets to be Maverick River.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, I'm beyond grateful for obviously the friendship more than anything, but Angela and I, and Jon, you are too. We're dreamers. Mm-hmm. And when God gives you a big God-sized dream, one of the most essential things necessary for the dream is champions,
yes,
and patrons and prayer warriors and people believing you more than you believe in yourself. And there's been many of those moments where I'm like, this is too big for me. I don't know what I'm doing. And both of you guys have been those champions and advocates, like keep charging, keep going. We're praying. And I mean, probably once a week, Tim, I got a guy for you to meet. And this is a total Maverick River thing. I mean, most of the ideas are silly. And I'm like, oh, I love you, John. But no. But some of them are actually really good. Some of them are really good.
Hey, 10% is great.
10%, we'll take it. And
well, it's funny because I don't think I'm a dreamer as much. I like to be the execution guy. So that's why I've loved partnering with you, because I want to support your guys' dreams. When you go out and do something, like I want to go put it to paper and figure out how we do it.
And that's necessary.
Yeah.
It is necessary.
And us Enneagram 7s, we don't always know how to put it together, but man, can we dream.
I'm a 1, so I get
are
it.
not a 1.
I'm a total 1.
Here we go.
Okay, in context, Jon has never picked up a book on the Enneagram
No, I haven't.
or taken the test. So
But 1
guess
is a
which one he
perfectionist.
is
And 1 is first, so I want to be first.
Yeah.
So,
which makes you the classic 8.
That's the things that
not an
8
8.
say. Things that 8 say is I need to be number 1. So it makes actually you just really validated.
I'm a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm right.
So we're going to talk about your dream that's in process of being realized. So we're going to get back to that.
Okay, cool.
But because we've been talking a lot about man camps and mentioned repeatedly, I don't want to go too far without Jon, you sharing. I mean, you give hours of time, and when we talked about intentionality, putting cabins together at a man camp is no small task for 400 men on a reg list. It's no small thing.
Big thing.
Jon has incredible spreadsheet algorithms that put this together. But obviously there's so much more than that. Like, talk about how you've loved serving the ministry of Man Camp now with Maverick River. Mm-hmm. One of the things is Man Camp is really, is a Mariners thing. And for Southern California churches, one of my visions is I want to be able to give Man Camp to more churches and more men.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that we've got to do. We did our first in 24. We're going to do another one in September of 25. And we went from 3 churches there to probably 5 or 6 in this year. And so that more churches can massively experience, guys can be transformed by what happens on the mountain. But really, you guys keep talking about this ripple effect. And we know, and Maverick River, one of our taglines is you build the man, you build the church, you build the family, you change the world.
Yes.
And that's what happens at Man Camp. So share a little bit about Man Camp.
Oh, goodness. So many things I could share about Man Camp. I think that the power of time away is, and just the intentionality of that. We say Man Camp, and my mind goes to, 400 or 500 guys sitting around worshiping Jesus. Like, man, we are terrible singers as a whole, men. But there's nothing I love more than like hearing a bunch of dudes off key, me included, belting out, like singing. Like, I sit in the back of Man Camp every year for a reason. Like, I don't sit up front, I don't sit on the sides. I am in the very, very back because I love that view of getting to see that. So
Awesome.
There are so many things in Man Camp that get involved, but I guess I'll make maybe a story of that has reignited and continues to make me want to press there. We had a gentleman, I'm going to go a roundabout way of telling the story. So shout out to Mike Ogus, our buddy.
Yeah.
Literally, we're talking about that core team text and everything else. And like me smiling, like Mike texted me today and in different words in this is kind of like, man, like miss you, love you, like want to make sure like you're doing okay. And I'm like, man, like I'm in a busy season. Yeah. Like there's a lot on my plate here. Like, love you. And like the Lord put him on my heart, or put me on his heart for a second time. So that came out of that. But I share that to say Mike and I have done ministry together for a while. We have been involved. We led a rooted group, and it was so much fun to do that together. And then as out of that, led a Bible study group that met at our house. We had the men in the garage and the women were in the house, and had a bunch of that for a while. And it was so much fun. Got to do ministry together. But there was a guy that was having a tough season of his life, and ended up calling Mike because he just knew that Mike was a Christian, and was like, hey man, like you do this Jesus thing and you're involved with all these other dudes. And I see that on your social media or wherever else. Like, I'm in a tough season. I need Jesus. Like, can I just like come and hang out with you and the dudes? Starts coming to our Bible study. Awesome dude. We pray with him. We're hanging out with him. We're doing all this, and we're kind of like praying ahead of this. Like, he's never given like an I believe or a commitment moment to Jesus. And Mike and I are talking about this leading up to it. Man, like we want to keep presenting Jesus to him in a way that is real and practical. And I hope the Lord works on his heart. And hasn't accepted Jesus right, maybe 6 months, I don't know, give or take, that he's been going to our Bible study, and Man Camp's coming up, and he registers, and we get excited, and him and Mike plan dates, and they figure it out, and we're up there, and ends up, we were praying through at Victory Circle, which for those of you that don't know, Victory Circle is the middle-ish towards end of Man Camp. It's a Saturday evening. We get up there and we get to worship in a corporate way, and the message leads us up around a fire pit with a bunch of dudes at night in the mountains. So painting that picture. And I know that Mike's praying with him too, but I'm sitting there and I'm just praying, Lord, like, I hope this guy comes to meet you tonight. Like, I hope he like has a relationship with you, that he gets to meet you. And turns out when Eric Hurd gave a 3-minute turns 20 altar call, shout out Eric Hurd, love you. This guy jumps up and says, I believe. And awesome. It was just such a cool moment of what the Lord can do on his timing. Like, we wanted it, but all we did was extend an invitation. The guy knew where to go when things were tough. He called a dude that knows Jesus, that has community with other dudes. Mm-hmm. The guy knew that he had a place that he could come to, that he would be loved. The guy knew that if he got away and went up to the mountains, that he would have a fun weekend. What he didn't know was he was going to meet Jesus. Like, and so what are the things we know versus we don't know, and how the intentionality of that weekend and just getting away and letting the Lord work, like, that just fires me up for wanting to do more of that. As it can't be the thing that we do every weekend because it loses its importance. But once, twice a year, whenever that is, how do we take that time to get away and dedicate and give it back to Jesus as an offering of our time to let him do whatever he can do? And how do we invite other people into that? Yep. I get excited about that. So there's so many Man Camp stories I could tell of men's lives being transformed, of men getting baptized in doing this. I mean, a quick one, just a fun one, is a guy that goes to Mariners that we went up. This is when they were doing baby dedications, and they just assigned elders to a group, like, no intentionality. Like, I think it was A, go with him, B, go with him, and so on. We get this guy, his wife, to dedicate their kid. And so we dedicate him. Then later that year is Man Camp, and it turns out I'm in the water and get to baptize the guy. Wow, and did cool. This. Then it turns out that my wife, who's working in kids ministry at the time after Vacation Bible School, has me get in the water to baptize kids that accept Jesus, and his older kid gets to be one of those. And then a men's event for G4 that I get to go and meet this guy's dad, and his dad gives me a hug and talks about the impact that I've been able to have on his life. Like, that's only something that God can do. Like, from Man Camp, this guy gave his life, not accepted Jesus in that moment, but recommitted in that moment and did that up on there. And then he gets up there and does that, and the ripple effect of baptizing his kid and dedicating his kid and getting to be involved in there and then meet his family. Like, it gets exciting of talking about the ripple effect of changing the man and changing the family. Mm-hmm. Perfect example is right there, that I didn't even know that God was using me to do that. I just was showing up, and the Lord did all of those things. It wasn't that I said, well, if I do this, then God can do this. Like, he already had the plan. He just let me be a part of it. And so Man Camp gets to be such a crucial role in a ripple effect of so many other things. So the hours of sitting in front of a computer and doing spreadsheets and trying to put this together, and honestly, beyond just like the tactical, hey, this guy wants to be with this guy, but putting cabins together and like praying through, like, God, like, who do you want these guys together? And how can I do that? And how that plays out. I love being a part of it. So, and I get my own room. So,
that was the bonus.
Yeah.
I think that was a sales pitch you gave me the first time, is, hey, like, you get to choose where you're going to be if you just take this on.
Clearly it works.
Take it on. And then I remember one year you're like, dude, you look really tired. Next year you need to get your own like room so you can just crash after this. And so it has been nice.
You do spreadsheets really well.
Yes. Angela doesn't like the spreadsheets.
Spreadsheets
I hate
suck
spreadsheets.
the life out of me. I literally feel like
Oh, and I get like really excited. Like every time you send me a spreadsheet to like edit or look at,
You clean it up and it's pretty.
just talking
I know.
about it.
I love it. So we follow, other than, obviously the Maverick River podcast
Of
here
course.
and doing this. One of our other podcasts is Dadville, the podcast.
Wow, we're shouting out a lot of
And
people.
So many shout outs.
There's so
Well,
many
we got to always bring it back to Nashville, right?
Okay.
Like we love Nashville. But anyways, because they live in Nashville, they talk about this and how like that's not their thing as creatives and being in spreadsheets.
not.
And Angela like came to me and she's like, "That's us.
I
Like
feel
you're the spreadsheet
seen.
one, and I'm not." Like they're talking about this on there. So I've only had 2 podcasts I've ever listened to. Is this one and Dadville? So
There we
Yeah,
go.
I don't
listen to
have
mine.
But you just launched yours.
That's true.
And
Okay, okay.
it'll also
It
be in the
just
show
came out.
notes.
It
We'll
just
give
came
grace.
out.
Came out.
We'll give
Man, she's
Wow.
shots fired.
No,
Jeez.
it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
So
Maybe we
one
should
of-
go to the next question.
One of our favorite authors
Oh yeah.
and favorite pastors, I think we all share this, is obviously Dr. Mark Batterson.
Yes.
Huge supporter of Maverick River. But one of the things he says, which is really what you're saying, is change of pace plus change of place equals change in perspective.
Right.
And so what we do is we take people out of the day-to-day work, family grind, whatever, all the things, and then we slow them down.
Yes.
Change of place. You're up in a mountaintop, wherever this retreat, this camp is. We intentionally don't call it a retreat. There's intentionality
don't
there.
retreat.
Men don't retreat. And that changes your perspective.
Right.
You can almost not go home thinking differently, and hopefully you're transformed from within. And so Man Camp is an incredible part of the ministry now, huge part of the Maverick River ministry.
Well, I would say before we move on, like I think of Mark Batterson and his influence over your life. Yeah. You had our core team at Mariners read through some of his books, and we've read through a number of them over the years. But I mean, the Circle Maker and just opening up, talking about like intentionally praying very specific prayers in order for when God provides and when he answers that prayer, that like we can't think it was us that did it, it was him. Like, and I think about that with MRC, like you were praying for God, like how do we like multiply this, and what does that look like? And you wanted that, and God answers that prayer. That gets exciting. So
yeah. I mean, in the beginning dream parts of Maverick River, and I've talked about this, it's like at first it was like I need validation from God, my wife, and Mark Batterson. Yeah. And then Jon and Angela, right after that.
That's good.
We're okay being after.
And I wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna call my buddy Mark, but I did have his phone number, courageously text him, and he gave me the not only this is a great idea, but come out to DC and because I believe in what you're doing.
Yeah. I still remember you calling me the night after. Was it a prayer gathering? Was that what it was when they had like that evening and he stopped
prayer and worship
prayed over you? Yeah, prayer and worship night in DC. And I mean, you were 3 hours ahead, obviously being in DC. And I remember you leaving that and calling me of like, dude, you wouldn't believe what happened. Like you weren't planning on it, but like almost like an anointing way that it affirmed where you were heading and what God was doing. That like Mark saw that like off the get-go, and just how exciting that was. And the Lord used him to anoint you in that moment in that way. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I get chills thinking about it, because he commissioned Maverick River Collective in front of his church in Washington, D.C., our country's capital.
Right.
First time I had ever even been there. And my heroes praying over Corey and I, blessing this thing before it was literally a dream.
Right.
Pretty crazy.
And it was just barely. I knew at that point, okay, I got to be obedient to the call.
Yeah.
This isn't just a fun idea anymore. This is, okay, what is this? What is the cost now to following this dream? And it was scary. Yeah. There was lots of fear involved in that. We're not going to go into that whole story. We're going to keep the dream thing going.
Yes. Okay.
We're going to go back to Angela had this dream that I am going to write a book.
Yeah.
Talk about, I mean, we're weeks away, I think, from release.
Weeks away. February.
Let's hear more
28th.
about it. Tell us the day after your anniversary.
Yeah, it was the
You
day.
remembered.
Well, you said it earlier.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's all the things. I love dreaming. He gets to hear all my dreams.
He's a dream executor.
And yes.
Essential.
And sometimes I have to say, slow down. I still need to be dreaming. We can't execute yet.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, he's very patient.
Classic 8 stuff.
Classic.
I'm a
8.
1. I'm right.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's it. Okay,
Right,
never
right.
mind. Yeah. So it's scary for sure. One of my stories in my book is Peter, when he walks on water with Jesus. Yes, he walked on water too. But in my processing of this story over and over and over again and spending 2 years with these 12 stories, which I'll go into what that is, his specifically, as I've peeled it back and looked at it again over and over again, I think about that step of faith. Like they literally in the middle of a storm.
Literally a step of faith.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus said, come. It was one word. And to trust in that moment, what he needed to do was get out of the boat and follow what Jesus said. But I don't, in my human mind, and I would think this would be Peter too, I can't imagine that he knew that what the outcome would be. His ability was not that he could walk on water. We're just humans. The one he's walking towards can walk on water, but all he needed to do was be obedient in that moment and then what Jesus did. And yes, Peter sank, and I feel like for sure I probably had my sinking moments,
Yes.
but that didn't mean Jesus wasn't there amongst all of those. And so I think that story has made an impact on my story, writing the book, in that, okay, I'm going to step out of the boat. I feel like I've been called to this. And I know that because I was just talking to someone today, and she was asking, it's taken 2 years to write, and it seems like forever. And at the same time, I could keep going. Jon says I love writing more than any person he knows.
She loves the process of writing a book because she spent so much time with Jesus along the way too. So it was like special moments for her.
Yeah.
And I had to finally have that conversation with her at one point. I'm like, look, like, take that into the second book. Like, this is great. Like, we need to be done with
Let's lock it up.
We need to be done with the first one.
Yeah.
Like, I love hearing her dream and her stories and her reshaping that and doing that. And you can do that again. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but like, we gotta get the first one out. And so that wasn't too long ago either.
But as a dreamer, I can and a 7, I can easily go on to the next thing. And so I was just telling this lady today who I was talking to, there was not a day that I didn't think about this book. And so if I didn't feel called to it, it would have been much easier to put it down. But I couldn't put it down. And a day that I couldn't get to it because life happens and there's other things to do, I was still thinking about it and wanting to get back to it. So I have other projects that are for sure unfinished, but this one is finished and done and coming out February 28th.
And the book title is
Unspoken Word, One Moment with Jesus Changes Everything.
Love it. And each chapter is significant. Talk about that a little bit.
So my mind and background is theater, and I started off as the little 7-year-old auditioning for the play. My parents would tell you I was entertaining people like out of the womb. But what was a hobby and a fun thing as a kid turned into a passion, and I pursued it in college and had dreams of being on Broadway and would still love to be on Broadway. That's fine. Broadway, if
never
you're
know.
listening.
Shout out to Broadway,
Shout out to
Jon. I didn't
Broadway.
hear you say it
Yeah.
that time.
Broadway in New York, not Broadway in Nashville.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Oh, yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Let's make the
country
distinction.
song, the country song talking about those Broadway girls.
Yeah.
Is Angela, the first time I'm playing it, is just like this is not nice. Like, the Broadway girls are great. And I was like, no, he's talking about the girls that are out at the bars on Broadway or whatever and doing that. So Nashville versus New York.
Yes.
There you go.
But
Tangent.
that was the seed. I can look back and go, and just think about how God molded my path, my purpose specifically. And that little seed of, I want to be on Broadway isn't wrong. It just got molded for me.
Yeah.
And so from there, I started directing more than acting, which I would have never thought that was a thing. And that was another molding and shaping. And from there, I started writing more than directing. And these were all just, I think, preparation for who I am supposed to be and what I am supposed to do. And I feel like my calling is to tell stories for God's glory. And so this book really, when I stepped back and it was done, I went, oh my goodness, this is compiling all of those storytelling avenues and mediums into a book. There is an acting portion of it. There is I say.
So the book chapters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Should I say that first?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay.
It's easier. It's easier when you tell
here.
what it is.
Okay. So the book is 12 chapters, 12 people who in the Bible physically encountered Jesus. And
hence unspoken word, a moment with Jesus.
Got it.
So
changes everything. And it is a scene study. So that's where kind of that, all of those acting, directing, writing.
What you would have done in theater.
What I would have done in theater is to study the scene and to know why the relationships with the people mattered, why the setting. If I'm going to direct, I have to know for everybody all the details. I need to know why it's nighttime and why we're at this place and why they're talking that way and why the relationships with every single person on stage matter. And so, that's what this takes. It takes, what might be 5 verses in the Bible, and we read it and go, okay, that's great. There was a man who was paralyzed, and then some friends put him down in a roof, and now he's healed. But if you peel it back, there's so much surrounding that that you can easily pass by. And so what art does often is allows people to stop and reflect. And so through a theatrical medium of peeling back and doing a scene study, from there's in each chapter a dramatic interpretation from the person who is meeting Jesus, encountering him. And that dramatic interpretation is really meant to allow people to, for one, be reminded that the people in the Bible were just people in the Bible living their faith story, but to see to be reminded, to kind of put flesh and bones on these stories and make them tangible and real.
So each chapter is broken down into stages. So those would be?
Scripture first, because I don't want anyone to walk away and be like, according to Angela. No, I want it to be according to Scripture. So Scripture first, and then in a script, there would be an at rise. At rise means when the curtain opens, this is what you're seeing as on stage. So an at rise is a breakdown of really the setting and the circumstances. What is the festival that's going on? Why are there so many people there? What does it mean for Jesus to be in Capernaum? All of those things. And then from there is the dramatic interpretation. And then from there, it's the
flesh out the dramatic interpretation a little bit.
Dramatic interpretation.
That's the part that I gravitate towards most. Okay. So I think it's important because you look at like the scene and then it almost answers the like, what if or what could have been. That's all. So
dramatic, most of them are spoken word monologues. So it's almost like the subtext of what that person could have been thinking at the time.
Love that. I
have performed 2 of them. One, Mary, the mother of Jesus, and the woman at the well. And I will say when I performed the woman at the well spoken word, why are you tapping me?
Oh, I wasn't meaning to tap you.
I thought you were.
I was meaning to just put my arm around you. Tim is tapping his phone that it's like time. So we should.
I will say there in that one specifically, I have had the chance to perform a few of them. The moment that the woman at the well says question statement, I've heard of Messiah, and Jesus says, I am he. I would like I couldn't. it put myself in her shoes and also my shoes, all of our shoes so it does. That's the hope, is that you can really feel, so what does it mean for that to happen? Why was it significant that Jesus touched a leper before he commanded or proclaimed healing on? There's so much depth and important. And
so each chapter though would dive into a person, and then would have those layers to it. And I think that's the thing that I get excited about for her book, and what the Lord's put in her heart is not just the diving into the scripture moment, because it's very important, but also the, like, it causes you to think. I'm not a creative, so I don't think about things in that way. And so you get to read that and think about really, like, what could that conversation between Pilate and his wife have been like after that happened, and what did they go back, and how did that play out in reality? We were listening to a song from Josiah Queen earlier, and it's called I Am Barabbas, and just the song and how it makes you think through, wow, like, I was the guy that did a bunch of things that didn't deserve to be saved, and Jesus went in my place, and like, I am Barabbas, and thinking through that. I think her book does that in written form. What I heard in that song, I would really relate to that. So,
well, that's the hope, is to just get people thinking.
Yeah, I think of the art that you've done in this book, and I think about the Chosen the first time I saw it, in that we've read the text,
right?
We've read the stories, we've maybe experienced and felt the stories, but the different medium made you experience Jesus different,
right?
And I think that's what I'm hearing. I haven't read the book yet. That's what I'm hearing. This is somewhat of a human perspective that gives you all the feels.
It gives you
and perspective of this is why this place, and there's significance to why, and there's these people to think about. Maybe you didn't think about that before. So really looking forward to this book. We are weeks away. We'll have the show note link to the book and where you can get it. And guys, I'm just so grateful for you, both of you, in the way that you've been a massive support to Maverick River, but really your belief in me, your belief in the ministry, and then, of course, your love for beyond me and the better parts of me, and that's my wife and my kids. You guys are Uncle Johnny and Aunt Angela, and just very, very special people to us. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing and all your support. And thanks for tuning in to Maverick River Podcast, Conversations in the Wild.